Alright, welcome back to the channel, y'all. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and let's get right into the story. So, I'm doing this video right here. I don't care if YouTube monetizes the video. I don't care if commercials run on it. The purpose of this video is to wake some people up. The purpose of this video is to enlighten some people. The purpose of this video is to share some awareness. So, Orlando police in Florida says the evidence observed during an autopsy all points to suicide. This young lady's family is not buying it. They're out here protesting, right? The hanging death of Yola Lubrin last week has family members and community advocates furious, and they're demanding answers from their local leaders and law enforcement. Lubrin was 31 years old. She went by the name Yo-Yo. She was found hanging from a tree in her front yard last Thursday, or in her yard. I don't know if it's front yard or backyard. It's in her yard. It was reported last Thursday. She was cut down by Orlando police officers, according to the police department. You know, when somebody hangs, somebody's got to go up there and cut that rope and let them drop to the ground before they can pick the body up and take it off to the morgue. I'll tell you how I know all that in a minute. Now, through the investigation is ongoing and an official autopsy hasn't been released yet. The police is saying that all the early signs already point to suicide and not foul play. Now, although her cause of death is still being investigated and will ultimately be decided by the Orange County Medical Examiner's Office, the deceased individual's documented history of mental illness, witness statements, cellular communications from Miss Lubrin, and the physical evidence observed during the autopsy, all these put together is what will ultimately determine what this was. Orlando Police Department wrote this in an email to the Orlando Sentinel. A crowd of about 60 people gathered outside of City Hall on Tuesday, chanting, "Justice for Yo-Yo! Justice for Yo-Yo!" Yo-Yo was described as a brilliant and amazing and loud young woman, vibrant, full of life, happy. Her sister said, "My sister is an African-American woman. Why is she getting swept under the rug?" This is what her sister, Naomi Lubrin, said. She asked the people at the rally. She said that my sister was brilliant. She was amazing. She was laughter. But most of all, she was loud. Naomi asked the rally goers to be loud, like her sister, and continue pushing investigators for more answers. It is not right that my mom has to bury my sister, her 30-year-old daughter. It's not right that I have to stand before you right now and be away from my family just so we can have justice for my sister. Miles Mulrain, the CEO of local nonprofit Let Your Voice Be Heard, wrote on Facebook the day after Lubrin's death that the police were extraordinarily quick to call it a suicide. They are immediately ruling it a suicide. But finding any black person hanging from a tree in 2023 requires way more information and investigation, no matter what, Mulrain said. Especially in this case because there are just too many unanswered questions and not enough proof. This is not the first time or the first time in a while that this has happened in Orlando, Florida. Just in 2020, we were asking the same questions about Nevon Baker, who was found hanging in a tree in a suspicious way for it to be suicide. The police have said that there were no physical injuries to her other than the ligature marks around her neck from the hanging. Okay, I'm doing this video because I want to specifically speak about mental health in the black community. And I have a platform, so I speak. And I've experienced this myself, so I speak, I share my pain, so others may learn. My brother was found hanging in a tree in Florida on his 23rd birthday. on the morning of his 23rd birthday, around 6 to 7 a.m. by local law enforcement officials. And it was right around the corner from my mother's house. I'll never forget the scream that my mother made when I went to go see my brother. I walked out of the house. I saw a lot of police cars outside right on our street. We live in the suburbs. I walked up to one of the police officers and I said, "Hey, how come there are so many cars on this street?" And he said, "Well, we found a guy hanging from a tree right over there." And right away, I knew that it was my brother. I said, "Wow, we're looking for my brother." Can I tell y'all that the night before his birthday, which would be in the morning, my brother got dressed. He bathed, he got dressed, he looked nice. I was going out to a club and I asked him to come with me and he said, "Nah." So it was kind of weird to me and I thought maybe he was going to go see a girl or something or go do something else. And he just didn't want me to be a part of it. So I went off to the club by myself. As I was in the club having fun, something hit me that said, "You need to sober up and go home," because I was tipsy. So I just started drinking water. And I drank 8 bottles of water. And I allowed 2 hours to pass. And I might have still been a bit tipsy, but I drove back about a 30-minute drive, 40-minute drive to the house. When I got to the house, before I could get to the house, I ran into my mother driving her car around her neighborhood, and I stopped her. And I got out, and it was dark. And I said, "Mama, what you doing out here?" She said, "I'm looking for your brother." I said, "You driving around the neighborhood looking for him?" "Mom, he's a grown man. You know, he'll be 23 years old tomorrow. He probably went out to go see a girl or something." And she just started crying. And she said, "No, a mother knows. Something is wrong with my baby." That was my mother's last child. Okay? I remember there was a fence. And that fence had a big sign on it, red and white sign that said no one should trespass. And the fence was electric. And anybody that got past the fence and got into this forbidden piece of land, which was government land, they would be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And I remember my mom going back to the house, parking her car, and jumped in the truck with me. And we started driving. I said, "Come on, since you want to go look for him, I'll drive around. You just look out, see if you see him walking anywhere." The whole time this woman kept saying, "I can feel it. I feel it in my belly. I feel it in my bones. My baby is dead. I feel it." I said, "Mom, calm down. Calm down. He's probably off with friends or something." I'll never forget, right before we went back inside the house, because we had driven around for about 2 hours and could not find him. Right before we went back to the house, she said, "Turn right here." And I turned right into that fence with the big red and white words, "No one should trespass." And my mom said, "He's in there." And I said, "Nah, I don't think he is in there." And we went back home. She got out the car and she called his name out loud. "Richard! Richard!" No answer. I said, "Come on, Mom, let's go home. Let's go get some sleep. I'm sure he'll show up in the morning. It's going to be his birthday." And that's the morning that came. Nobody slept. We sat up. The morning when I walked out the front door, just to walk out the front door, I saw these cars lined off on the streets. And that's how I went over and spoke to an officer. And the officer said something about finding a body. So the officer said, "This person has one distinct mark on their body." I said, "Oh my God." The officer said, "Did he have a scorpion tattooed on his forearm?" I said, "That's my brother," because he was a scorpion. His zodiac sign is a scorpion. He said he has a distinct birthmark that is about the size of a fist, and it covers his index finger and his left finger on his right hand. I said, "That's definitely him." And I went to go identify the body, and when I saw my brother, I felt like I just wanted to run and just keep running. I tell you this story because we saw the signs in my family, and everybody was so busy, caught up. First of all, in our black culture, Caribbean culture, black American culture, African American culture, black people in general, we have all these stereotypes. Somebody must have worked voodoo on him and he lost his mind. In the Caribbean, they'll say stuff like, maybe he's going off because he went to go smoke some weed with somebody and they put something in it. Or they'll say oh, you're not strong enough. Oh, he was weak. He wasn't strong enough. He was stressed out and he let the world stress him out till he killed himself. Right? I do this video to say this, man, that people of color, we take mental health for a joke. We take mental health for a joke. We do not want to take the time to study what clinical depression is, what depression is. It wasn't until I started going to school at Kaiser University and studying in occupational therapy field that I started learning normal and abnormal human psychology, right? And then I realized that my brother was depressed for a long time. And because we kept laughing it off, oh, he'll be all right. You know, you got to be strong. And I mean, that's us, black people. We've been going through so much throughout history and time that we've come to a place where it's like they tell you from you're very small, especially if you're a boy, a guy, you got to be strong, right? Can't let nobody see you cry, right? You got to internalize all that pain and turn it into something else, right? You turn it into fuel for your fire, energy. But guess what? Some people are soft in their spirit. Not everybody is able to take and internalize whatever pain is going on inside of them and confusion and just turn it into fuel for their fire and become successful, use it to drive them. Some people will break under that pressure, the pressures of life. Some people will break under that pressure and they will end up either being on hard drugs, self-medicating, end up following the wrong company and ending up in places and paying consequences that are dear, will remove years from their life, or even end up taking their own lives. Looking back in retrospect, I realized my brother was depressed. But my brother had been depressed so long that my brother had gone from regular depression to clinical depression. Clinical depression is when you hit the stage of depression where you're past regular depression. Regular depression is where, okay, I don't feel like doing that today. All the things that you enjoy so much, suddenly you don't feel like doing them anymore, and you haven't felt like doing them in a long time. That's regular depression. Clinical depression is when you really start to lose motivation to live. And that is where the chemical imbalances in the brain starts happening. And this is where your loved one starts telling themselves, I'm hearing voices, but I can't tell the rest of my family members I'm hearing voices. So they will appear around you as if they are okay. All along, they're battling. A voice is saying, you're not good enough to be here. You know what? You'll be better off if you take your own life. It's a moment of pain, but you'll be forever free. You are becoming a burden to the people around you. You know that stuff where we say check on your loved ones and check on them for real? Don't just be somebody that's passing by that says to them, hey, how you doing? All right, bet. All right, talk to you later, bye. No. If you really love somebody, check on them for real. Hey, man, how are you? How you doing? And they'll say, I'm good. And you could say, no, I don't think you're good because I know you. I check for you. I remember when you used to be funny. I remember when you used to laugh a lot. You used to be the life of the party. You made other people laugh. How come you're not laughing anymore? What's going on? Speak to me. That's all they need. And I found out too late after my brother was gone. I remember saying to my brother, I'm not staying in Florida. I had just come back from Europe. And I told my brother, I'm not staying in Florida. I'm about to go move out, probably out to Texas or move to New York and get something popping out there. I'm not staying here. And all along, my brother just wanted me to stay around because he was going through something and he had nobody else to talk to. And I was so wrapped up and concerned about my own life and taking care of my kids. And life will do that to you. Life will get you to the place where you're so busy you forget to take care of or forget to check in on the people you care for the most. What are you going to do when you were born in poverty and you're trying to work your way up out of it and you got to work 2 jobs to survive? You're there at one job from 2 p.m. till 10 o'clock at night. Then you're at another one from 11 p.m. till 7 in the morning. You don't even have time for yourself. So you're not even seeing your family members suffering. And they feel like, I'm not going to burden them with all this because I see that he's already busy and he got a lot on his plate. I just got to try to deal with this myself. Well, guess what? If your family member hits clinical depression, they're not going to be able to deal with it themselves without being Baker acted and without getting proper medical care and counseling. And I'm telling you to check your loved ones so you don't end up having to go identify one of your family members like I had to identify my brother and see his stiff body laying there on the morning of his 23rd birthday. This is black people. Stop talking about black people not hanging themselves in 2023. What are you talking about? Black people are not hanging themselves in 2023? Is this some kind of trend? Where is this rule written that if you're black and you're going to commit suicide in 2023, you're probably going to shoot yourself? But if they find you hanging, then foul play must have happened. Maybe the KKK or some racist person came and got him and strung him up to a tree. The law enforcement officials in this particular case, they did not say that they are ruling it as a homicide. They said that based on her history of mental health issues, based on her documented history of mental health issues, based on witness statements, based on cellular communication from Miss Lubrin and the physical evidence that was observed during the autopsy, all that is what will ultimately decide. But from their early preliminary theory, they are guessing that this is a suicide because nothing else gets pointed to except for this, suicide. And people are out here saying she's black, so somebody must have hung her from the tree. We need to stop. We need to stop. Your loved ones are going through it. And they will quietly tell you, I love you, or they will joyfully dance and party with you, and they will walk out of your life and go through that back door and go down that street and say goodbye forever. I don't want you to go around thinking that black people ain't hanging themselves or ain't hanging themselves from trees in 2023 or in 2024, because they are. They're hanging themselves. They're overdosing with needles, heroin, purposely going to sleep and never waking up. They're taking pills. They're jumping off of high-rise buildings. However suicide is committed, we're no different. We are a part of it. And it's full time that the black community understands that not everybody could handle the pressure. And not everybody is going to use all of their pain and their disappointments. Not everybody is going to be able to ball that up and use it as fuel for their fire to become successful. Some of them are going to break under the pressure, and it's important to recognize the signs and to be there. I'll catch you all in the next video. My condolences goes out to Yo-Yo's family. And that's all I can say, man. I've been down this road before. I know this pain. Don't let you and your family members go down this road too. I'm out. Peace.